My 3-year-old daughter looks white and carries a black doll, calling it her brown baby. Is this okay? I genuinely want to know if I am doing any bad parenting here or will offend anyone. I am mixed. My dad is African American and gave my daughter a black baby doll. It's her favorite doll, and being 3 she is learning colors of course and is extremely literal. Says it's her brown baby because she also has some other baby dolls with light skin. I honestly am not sure how to address it or if I should address it. My daughter's father is white, so my daughter looks white with blonde hair. I feel terrible even having to ask this question since I feel I should already know that answer, but let me know. Reddit, please be kind. Update. Thanks so much everyone, this has been super helpful. We will name all her babies and eventually ensure she knows not to label people with one characteristic. I appreciate all the helpful comments that made me realize I wasn't alone in navigating this. Actually, what you could do is give her another black doll so that she has to figure out a way to distinguish them in another way, just like she distinguishes her other dolls. My daughter is 5 and has a crush on a caramel-skinned boy with black and brown swirled hair. It's just a descriptor. I say, what's his name? Let's use his name. You don't want to be known as the peach-skinned girl with crazy hair. It's not malicious. She just didn't know how to describe him in another way that stood out. But apparently he laughs like a horse, sneezes all the time, and has blue eyes like the rocks in Nanny's Fishbowl. LOL. Help her give it a name. My daughter had dolls of several races, sizes, materials: store dolls, cloth dolls, knit dolls. I encouraged her to call them by name, not characteristics like color or size. She had a tendency to call them by their hair color for a while. She thought skin color was irrelevant, hair color mattered. LMAO, this would crack me up if I heard a little white baby say that, but maybe I'm just a bad black person. Not a parent, but she'll grow out of calling it brown baby, and most people won't be offended by a toddler calling their doll a weird name. I had 3 favorite dolls when I was little: Big Lucy, Little Lucy, and Butchie. Where did I come up with the last one? No clue, but it's definitely not as weird as my cousin naming his balloons Mr. and Mrs. Happiness. As a former brown baby, I honestly think that's really cute. She's only 3, don't worry about it. Kids say things like this. She'll grow out of it. It is a brown doll. It's fine to call it one. My very blonde and blue-eyed son wanted an African American doll when he was 2. While paying, the cashier at Target asked him if he really wanted to get that. Not sure if her objection was to the gender or race thing, but who cares, not my issues. He named her Tomato Sweet and carried her everywhere. We talked about how pretty and nice she was. It was adorable, but he's 11 now and well past dolls. Nothing wrong with it really, as she's just a kid and it's not like she's walking around going, "This is my N baby." A couple of people said it already, but now would be a good time to teach her about names. Use a few other dolls or teddies etc. for the process too. Try having her give them names. She's doing nothing wrong. She's describing the doll quite literally as what it is, a baby doll that's brown. All of the connotations and subtexts are completely unknown to her and do not need to be known to her. The fact is that there is no need to make it verboten, because then you're communicating to her that there's something to be ashamed of in this and you're focusing that shame on the brown aspect. Is the doll brown though? If it was blue and she called it her blue doll, would it be an issue? Children are simple and see the world as is. It's white guilt that makes people overthink stuff like this. I lean toward not even addressing it. My niece would say daddy's skin is brown, mommy's is white and mine is tan. They're just observing things, and you don't want to infer that acknowledging skin color is shameful or inherently bad. The name thing is a good idea if it makes you uncomfortable, but in a child's mind it's no different than saying there's a brown dog and a white dog. I did this as a child in the 80s in Ireland. My mother got so much grief over it. It was just awful. But I wanted a baby doll, and when I saw it went nuts for it, my mother was pretty cool and took everyone on. told them to mind their business what her daughter played with. People even stopped her in the street to comment, and I remember my granddad going nuts at her. When I look back now, I realize how much of a legend she was. I think I called mine something similar. He was my favorite doll. Yes. She is not racist, she is 3. She's just describing her doll as she sees it. My dad is Mexican and way darker than me. I used to tell people my dad is black when I was 4 or 5 because I thought it was cool LMAO. Well, it's brown and a baby. It's a perfectly accurate description. My big little's first doll she ever picked on her own was a black baby doll. She was wearing a headband with a rose on it. So that's Baby Rose. She was gifted a black baby doll from a friend later. His name is Tom. We also have Moana and Tiana, Disney babies. Her white babies are Crystal, Aurora Disney, and Anna Disney have her pick a name for her baby doll. Baby Rose is my daughter's favorite doll. It's the only toy she absolutely never has to share. Anyone not laughing at your 3-year-old's choice of words needs to touch grass. Ask her what the baby's name is. Remind her names are important. I'm white, live in Australia. When I first got Lily, I wanted a brown baby born as opposed to the baby born. I already owned white skin. Grandma got her for me. Once I had named her, she was never brown baby born again. I still have her at 27 foot. We had a similar thing. My daughter picked a baby born and called the doll her brown baby, and I was panicking like, oh, what do I do to correct this? Until she said, I have blue and brown babies. Now I have a brown baby like me. My daughter is white with brown eyes. The doll has brown eyes. The other doll she has blue eyes. OMG. So we then explained, well, lots of people have brown eyes or blue eyes. Let's give them names so we know who you mean. My daughter had a brown doll that she loved called Brownie, like the baked good, but we always made her keep it home because imagine that headache. Why should anyone care about the color of a doll? When I was a child, people collected dolls of the world all dressed differently. A doll is a doll. The fact you got your kid a black doll to begin with is a green flag in my books. In a mixed family with a dark-skinned grandpa, it is okay to call a brown doll a brown doll. No need to comment. Kids love both white and brown family members. It is simple. No need to explain it. It is natural to pick the most important difference. Color. It is not a danger. Children must be LRFT using one trait. Seriously. No one cares, it's a little kid. I had a black dog that I carried around religiously for the better part of a year named Blackie. Nothing wrong with it. That doll is in fact brown. IDK if I have advice, but I can commiserate with your embarrassment. My abuela always wears black. So when I was your daughter's age, I called her Black Grandma. She is not black. It looked odd when I'd shout for Black Grandma in Target, and then I did eventually get used to calling her Grandma last initial. Good thing we Latinos don't get offended by pointing physical characteristics. I don't get why this is offensive, since physical characteristics are there, and ignore them is not going to change them or make them less noticeable. Dude, she's 3. It's really not a big deal. You can talk to her about it, but good luck making her understand. She's a baby, I'd sleep on this. It's a baby and they are pure. Let them just be. My wee cousin had a brown baby and a pink baby. She eventually gave them names on her own. It turned out all right. It's totally reasonable BCUZ, she's just going by what she sees. But I love the other comments about giving her other babies so she can learn to distinguish the differences by other measures. Just remember, my brown baby is not an insult. My daughter is white, and when she was little, I told her she could pick a role and she picked a black doll because she thought it was the most beautiful.